How I made a Grassy modular board part 2, basic construction and plain tiles. So in this video I'm going to be showing you how I make the plain tiles that are being pointed at with red and white arrows just there, as well as the basic construction as well. I'm Chris from Good Enough Scenery, and yeah, the beginning of this is not the most interesting, so I'm not going to apologise. This is the stuff that needs to be done. So the very first thing that needs to be done is to have MDF boards in place for the bottom of your tile. So you need 16 of these. So what I do is I buy these packs of, well, I buy lots of them, and they are double the size that they need to be. Now in order to cut these, I mark out a line, and then I very softly just begin to score it with a sharp knife. I go over it maybe 8 or 9 or 10 times, and once I've got a proper score in it so that the knife isn't going to go anywhere else, you're able to then kind of put a bit more pressure safely without kind of endangering your hands, and then you can snap it a bit, and yeah, it comes off quite nicely. And then it comes to cutting the foam. So if you want to buy either those boards or this foam, there is a link to buy this stuff on Amazon. And to cut the foam, sharp knife, and I'm just very slowly just again getting a score mark in place. So this first one I'm barely pushing down at all, I'm just making sure the line is there. Then on future scores I'm going a bit deeper. You notice I've got my finger there and I'm pushing against the side of the blade, which is going against the spirit level which I'm using, which means that the blade is going to be going directly downwards rather than off at any angle. And once that's done, you can deepen the score with just having a steel rule there. And then once you've got it to a certain depth, I'm not sure exactly what that depth is, but it's a feel thing more than anything else. You can just take it to the side of a counter and then just lever it, and it will just snap off in a beautifully straight line like mine very nearly did there, but it is perfectly good enough for what we are doing it for. And then same thing, just to cut it in half. So I like to mark out with a sharp knife rather than a pen, just because a pen is that much wider, and I'm trying to be as accurate as I possibly can with these, because the more accurate you are when you make these, the better the board alignment will be, and hopefully the less obvious the gaps between the boards will be. But it's impossible to get them absolutely perfect. Believe me, I've tried. Now, because they're not absolutely perfect, one of the steps I do is this kind of matching up process, where I take my 16 boards I've cut and my 16 bits of foam, and I work out which ones are going to be the best ones for each different board. So with the boards which are going to be non-river tiles, we're going to go through and find the ones that line up the absolute best. If the ones that don't line up particularly well, then those foam boards are going to be the ones you want to be using for your river, because those ones are the ones which you're going to cut the middle out of, so that the size matters slightly less. Now, to show you how I stylize these 3 plain tiles, I just beat the living hell out of this one with a rolling pin, because I wanted to have a bit of a divot in it, and you can cut this out, or I just hit it with a rolling pin. Now with every single one of these tiles, which took a long time, believe me, I rolled it with aluminium foil, tin foil rolled up, so that it created this lovely texture to it, which I later painted brown to make it more soil-like. Now, rather than just having them all plain, so one of them had a divot, one was completely plain, and one I decided I wanted to have a rock attached to it. So I took some larger foam, this is an offcut from another board, and I just started carving into it until I had a shape that I liked. And this rock was then glued down at a later stage. Now, people have asked me, what's the point in gluing stuff down onto the boards? Why don't you just have it as scatter terrain? Well, this is made out of very light XPS foam, and I'm sure you've had it when you're playing games that, you know, you move your troops to exactly where you want them to be because of some scenery, and then because it's, you know, it weighs a matter of grams or a matter of ounces, it's so easy to knock it so that it kind of moves out the way. So by having it glued down, it can't move because it's attached to the board around it. So once you've done your rock, or once I'd done my rock, I very roughly drew around it, and the reason for this is so I knew exactly where I wanted to go, and it meant I had to do slightly less of this tin foil rolling, which, like I said, takes quite some time. So once I'd done that of all 3 boards, I hadn't glued this down yet. I glued them to the foam boards to the MDF boards. Now, to attach them, I use instant nails, which is not as instant as the name might suggest, but it works really well as an adhesive, which allows you to kind of press it down onto it, and then make the adjustments you need to make. So I'm going to scoop up a little bit of the excess there, and then just line this up, put some pressure down, that squidges the glue out. Might have spotted my bald spot there, and then just lining up the edges of the two boards as closely as you possibly can, and this is where this matching up process from earlier really helps. And that's basically it in terms of the basic construction of these tiles. I'm going to be going through the painting and the flocking of all of these in a later video, but that is the basic construction and the 3 plain tiles. That is how I constructed them, and this is just another setup that the board could have been in or can be in. So this is what we are heading towards. So we will be doing more in the next video, where I'll be showing you how I carved the river tiles. If you like this, please like it, please subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so that you know when new videos are coming, and I'll be back with part 3 soon.